5 years ago, Stephanie Smothers stood in a courtroom and sent her calculated best friend, Emily Nelson, to a maximum security prison. Stephanie built a new life on the wreckage of that betrayal. She monetized her trauma into a hit true crime memoir and now lives in a state of wealthy, curated suburban peace. But that peace is fragile. Her teenage son, Miles, bears the weight of Stephanie's past, facing relentless bullying because of his mother's infamous crime vlog. The digital trail of chaos she left behind has become a permanent social anchor for her child. During a packed bookstore signing, the atmosphere suddenly shifts. The crowd parts in silence to the sharp, deliberate sound of stiletto heels. Standing in the aisle is Emily, alive, free, and looking as immaculate as the day she was arrested. Emily issues a cold ultimatum. Stephanie will serve as the maid of honor at her wedding in Capri. If she refuses, Emily will file a massive lawsuit over the unauthorized memoir, seizing Stephanie's house and Miles' entire college fund. Faced with immediate financial ruin, Stephanie packs her bags. Despite the obvious danger, she boards the plane, acting as a moth drawn directly into a toxic flame. The trap springs the moment she steps onto Emily's private jet. When Stephanie attempts to restart her vlog, a flight attendant aggressively shuts her down and confiscates the camera. Inside, she meets the groom, Dante Rosano. He possesses a lethal, quiet authority and a complete lack of digital presence. He is a walking symbol of old money and untouchable power. Stepping onto that plane strips Stephanie of her final layer of agency. Without communication or the ability to record her own evidence, she is now a prisoner inside Emily's narrative. The Versano estate in Capri is a stone fortress overlooking azure waters. Inside the walls, the air is thick with a suffocating, inescapable dread. The household is a powder keg. Armed guards patrol the grounds to manage a truce with a rival mafia family, while Emily's ex-husband, Sean, drinks heavily and screams threats about a looming custody battle for their son, Nicky. That night, the estate falls silent. In the guest wing, a figure emerges from the shadows and plunges a needle into Sean's neck. He collapses onto the rug as blood begins to leak from his nose and mouth. The next morning, Stephanie pulls little Nicky away from his father's door as a dark, metallic-smelling puddle seeps from underneath the heavy oak frame. As Sean's body is zipped into a bag, the social illusion of the trip vanishes. This environment is an active, lethal trap. After noticing a gaunt woman following her from the bookstore to the Italian coast, Stephanie finally corners her at a cafe. The woman is an FBI agent named Irene, and she provides proof that Emily's Aunt Linda is a mastermind who uses people for insurance fraud before discarding them. Irene reveals the anomaly at the case's center. Emily wasn't a twin, but a triplet, hiding a third sister named Charity. As the wedding proceeds, Dante and Emily stand flanked by opposing forces, the Versano mafia empire and Aunt Linda's financial greed. At the reception dinner, Dante performs a final act of devotion. He holds his multi-million-dollar prenup over a candle and watches it burn to ash. The night ends in chaos. A gunshot echoes through the mansion, alarms blare, and the West Wing is engulfed in flames. By morning, Dante Versano is dead. The wedding provided a structurally perfect cover for a synchronized massacre, removing both a husband and an ex-husband in a single stroke. Under house arrest, Stephanie watches the widow pour a cup of tea. Stephanie spent months writing a memoir detailing every inch of Emily's appearance, and she notices a flaw. The shading on the woman's wrist tattoo is wrong. When Stephanie points out the discrepancy, Charity's polished facade melts into a manic, unhinged energy. She slices her own arm with a broken vase and screams for the guards, framing Stephanie for the attack. Stephanie flees into the Italian woods, hiding in a boathouse. There, she encounters the real Emily, cold, calculating, and waiting in the shadows. These power dynamics explain the conspiracy. Dante used Emily as a shield to hide his homosexuality from his violent mafia family, while Linda directed Charity to bypass that shield and kill him for the fortune. Stephanie realizes she was brought to Capri as a public scapegoat. With her infamous reputation as a true crime voyeur, she was the perfect person to take the fall for a billionaire's assassination. On the cliffs, Charity turns on her creator. Realizing she can never truly be Emily, she pushes Aunt Linda to her death. Charity threatens to jump with Nikki, but Emily intervenes. She uses surgical, psychological dominance to break Charity's mind, manipulating her sister into surrendering without a struggle. Months later, Stephanie's sequel becomes a global phenomenon. Charity remains in a catatonic state in an Italian prison, lost in her own mind. Emily has vanished, but she visited Stephanie's kitchen one last time. She asked for one simple favor, for Stephanie to adopt Nikki. Stephanie's acceptance of the child ensures that Emily's influence is permanent. The strings attached to Stephanie's life are now unbreakable, making her suburban peace a lasting psychological prison.